Our first reading this day is Psalm 23. Hear the psalmist. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me on paths of righteousness' namesake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forevermore. And our next reading comes from 1 John, the 3rd chapter. Hear these words about how we should love as Christians. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers. If anyone has material possessions and sees his brothers in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in him? Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and truth. This then is how we know that we belong to the truth, and how we set our hearts at rest in his presence. Whenever our hearts condemn us, for God is greater than our hearts, and he knows everything. Dear friends, if our hearts do not condemn us, we have confidence before God, and receive from him everything we ask, because we obey his commands and do what pleases him. And this is his command, to believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and to love one another as he commands us. Those who obey his commands live in him, and he in us. And this is how we know that he lives in us. We know it by the Spirit he gives us. And our gospel reading comes from John, the 10th chapter. Hear these words of Jesus. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd who owns the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is the hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not of this pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and they shall be one flock and one shepherd. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have the authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. Here ends the gospel reading. A woman had left the Muslim faith. Now, growing up surrounded by Islam, she wasn't really sure what to do. She asked God for help. And one night she had a dream. in this dream, she saw a shepherd. And he's walking around an empty tomb with a staff. And this shepherd walked around this tomb a few times and then headed towards it. The shepherd had a loaf of bread and said to this woman, "Take and eat." Now, this woman had never read the Bible. She didn't really know much anything about Christianity. But she had an idea that this dream she had something to do with Christianity. So she found a Christian and asked about this dream that she had. So this Christian opened up the Bible and showed the words where Jesus says, "Take and eat," referring to the loaf of bread at communion. And this woman became a follower of Jesus. Jesus said, "I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me." The voice of the good shepherd calls out. It calls out to all people. It calls out to so many in this life. It calls out for us this day. And that is the good news. The good shepherd is there, calling out to each and every one of us to follow, calling out to all of us to live and feel his presence, to know the life he gives, to know the wonder that we can experience, to feel secure in his goodness. Now, there are many that we can follow in this life. There are many things that we can choose to have as shepherds. Look at the choices that you make. Look at what you lean towards. Look at your ideals. Look at what you choose. Everyone follows something. Leaders, parties, teams, trends, religions. Everyone follows something in this life. Everyone makes a choice. Everyone follows. There's always something to follow. Take political parties in this world. That's a shepherd that calls out all the time, constantly calling. And it's going to be calling out even more, for elections are coming up. They're already here. Maybe you've heard those calls on your phone, texts, calling for political parties, wanting your vote. Political parties are always there, wanting to be your final shepherd, your final call in all things. Political parties that have ideals and all kinds of different morals that will shift like the wind and have changed over the years, will continue to change. Parties that all too often like to put on the cloak of Christian piety. Then, of course, there's the shepherd of entertainment. The internet, books, TV, apps on your phone, all kinds of things that scream to you, "Follow me, follow me. Let me be your guide. Let its voice rule you. Let it be your final thing, your final say in all things." There's, of course, the shepherd of human philosophies. Marxism, Objectivism, Confucianism, Neoclassicalism. So many things to shepherd the life of people. There are many shepherds that call out there. Many shepherds that call. But only one is good. Only one truly cares. Because the shepherds in this world, they will scatter when there is a problem. They will scatter when life gets tough, when there is a threat. Because do they care for you? Do they truly want to know you and your life? Will they put themselves at risk for you? Will they put up their life? There is only one good shepherd that will do that, and as of course, the Lord Jesus Christ. For he is there. He is always there to lift you up. He is always there in your trouble. He is always there to bless you. He is the only one that can be called good. During one particular Christmas, a young mother by the name of Brenda Nixon, was brought to despair. Amid the stress of the holiday, her husband's job was very shaky. It looks like he was going to lose it. And with that grim possibility, along with other things happening in her life, she was very, very depressed. Now, she had all kinds of responsibilities in her life. And one of them was, she had to do one day was teach her child's Sunday school class, her little 3-year-old girl's Sunday school class. Now, when she was looking through the teacher's book the one day, she saw the lesson was on the Good Shepherd. She thought to herself, what? The Good Shepherd? Surely this is wrong. How could the Good Shepherd relate to the meaning of Christmas? Besides, city kids, they can't relate to shepherds. Brenda's spirit was very low, evident by a criticism of the lesson. The time for class came, and when she taught that Sunday, she made it through craft time, gluing cotton balls to pictures of sheep with the kids. They, of course, had their little juice and crackers, and then it came time to circle up and have story time. Turning to each child, Brenda began to ask them, what is a good shepherd? To this came to Brenda a truth and a reminder from one of the little children. When the children responded, he picks up the sheep when they fall down. The Good Shepherd is there when you fall down. The Good Shepherd is there to give you that comfort and wholeness. The Good Shepherd is there always in your life to give you those right and good ways. And the Good Shepherd is there to give up his life so you may live. This is why we call him good. That is why he is the Lord. And we celebrate that truth. We rejoice in that truth. That we are in the season of that truth. Right now we're in the Easter season in the life of this church. A wonderful season where, of course, we focus on the resurrection of Christ at Easter. We look to the reality that he rose from the tomb. And this reality is something that Jesus, he, of course, predicted today when he talks about him being the Good Shepherd. For Jesus says this day, for this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me. If I lay it down of my own accord, I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. Now, Jesus says these words some time before he's crucified. And these words about him laying down his life and taking it up again, they wouldn't have really made complete sense to those who first heard them. Of course, they make perfect sense to us right now. We understand Easter. We understand that Jesus goes to the cross for our salvation. We understand the tomb will be empty. But those people who first heard it, they wouldn't have fully understood. But they would. The disciples, those gathered there, they would understand. They would understand that Jesus has the power. Jesus has the power to do amazing and wonderful things. How he is the Good Shepherd. A shepherd that is very, very different. Very, very different from the shepherds that they knew. For being a shepherd, a very common profession during that time period. A profession just as common as any of the professions represented here in this church. All the different jobs that we have here in this congregation. But Jesus, of course, is not just some run-of-the-mill shepherd. He's just not some regular person. No. He is God. Jesus is a greater shepherd, an amazing shepherd, one who has the power to lay down his life and rise up again. He is the glorious good shepherd, a shepherd that can be with people throughout their lives, that comfort, peace, and hope. He is the shepherd talked about in that familiar psalm, Psalm 23. Now, Psalm 23 was written by King David. King David, who was a shepherd in his life. And King David, of course, he knew about raising sheep. He knew himself what it meant to have a good shepherd. Someone who is there to take care of you. Someone who is there to bless you. And bless you in ultimate things. In all of life. To truly be there. I'm going to read now Psalm 23. And I want you to listen. Listen very, very carefully. If you like, close your eyes and focus on the words. Focus on them and understand. Understand what this psalm means for you. How it means for you and the Lord, Jesus Christ. I'll begin reading. Close your eyes. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely, goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forevermore. Open your eyes if you close them. What did you hear? What did you hear about you and the Good Shepherd? What did you learn about you and God in this psalm? Well, in this psalm we learn, of course, the security, that wonderful total security that we have with the Good Shepherd. He is there taking us to those wonderful places, those places that guide us, those pastures who are safe and secure. Now, second, we learn that the Lord is with us. The Good Shepherd is there in those fearful, dark places, those places of sadness, those valleys where we worry about death. He is with us, right beside us. That staff, that rod, those tools of security. He is there to keep us safe and protected. The Good Shepherd is there at all times. And in Psalm 23, we hear these words. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Think about that. You are surrounded by enemies. But the Good Shepherd makes a table, a place where you have good things, where you are blessed. With the Good Shepherd, you're secure, even in the midst of how you could be destroyed, even in a place where you're surrounded by foes. The Good Shepherd, he has you. He has blessing for you. Blessing that is not just something simple, not just something little, because as we hear in Psalm 23, your cup overflows. This is the reality, what it means to have the Good Shepherd, to know the Good Shepherd, and accept the Good Shepherd. Will you do that? Will you let him live in your life? Will you follow the Good Shepherd and listen? Because that is important. Something you must do. And that is our great challenge. A challenge we must always do as Christians. We are always challenged to live in his love. Always listen to his voice. Today in our reading from 1 John, we are challenged to love in the deepest level. We hear these words. How does God's love abide in anyone who has the world's good and sees a brother and sister in need, yet refuses to help? Little children, let us love not in word or speech, but in truth and action. The reality is we can't live in the love of Jesus Christ. We can't live in his ways and not act. Or we have to live in his ways and not just have this false pretense. We have to listen to his voice and follow. We can't live in sinful and wrong ways. We can't live in foolish ways. And we can't go astray like sheep too often do. Because that's a problem. If we don't listen to the Good Shepherd, we can go astray. We can do foolish things. Go places we shouldn't. Just do wrong. That's a problem with our own human nature, the nature of sin, when we don't follow the Good Shepherd. Many years ago, I was working at a job site. This is when I worked construction. And I was putting in a water line at this one sheep pasture. It was just putting a water line in so that there'd be little watering troughs set up so the sheep could just kind of get water throughout the field. And of course the sheep were off on their own little fenced off area. And as I was digging with a backhoe, I was scooping out some dirt, and I went to go put the dirt off to the side, and there where I was about to dump some dirt was a sheep. And of course, if I hadn't stopped, that sheep would have got, well, hit. And so there is a sheep just standing there, looking at, this 8-ton piece of construction equipment. I yelled at the sheep to move. The sheep just kind of stood there. And so, of course, I stopped and I got the farmer. I said, hey, sheep got out. And the shepherd said to me, he said, yeah, these sheep, they get themselves in trouble. And grabbing a hold of the sheep that had gotten out. This one in particular, he gets out. And the other day, he got himself head stuck in a fence. All too often, we get ourselves in trouble. We get ourselves in trouble by not listening to the Good Shepherd. We'll wander off. We might get ourselves in dangerous situations. Situations where we might just be looking at something and next thing you know, we're in danger. Maybe we might get our heads stuck in fences. It happens. We don't listen. And that's a danger. It's a danger we don't listen to the comfort and peace that comes from the Good Shepherd. So listen to his voice. Listen to his voice and follow. Follow him and know the comfort that is there, the truth that is there, and how you are always secure in the one who loves you, the one who lays down his life for you, the one that can always bless you. For Jesus Christ is the true Good Shepherd. Amen.